Hi, this is Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp and Return to Sleepaway Camp and The Perfect House. And you are listening to the Timo and Harley Show.
Welcome to the Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there is my partner in Mindcrime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben Gobbler of Hate Harley.
That's right. That's me.
Oof. Happy Spanksgiving.
Yeah, give me something to hate, Timo. Gobble it up, man.
Well, don't hate Spanksgiving or Thanksgiving,
no,
whatever you
I
call it.
love
Don't
me
hate
some
that.
Thanksgiving. You know what I do hate, though, Timo?
What's that?
All right, I'll pull out my soapbox.
Whoop. Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah.
I got better sound effects.
I know. I was looking for a box. I don't have one around. And I'm in a shirt shop.
Right.
I don't have one in arm's length. Okay. So,
right. And shirts aren't known for their audible abilities, so that's fine.
No, right. And Timo, okay, so, since I've been here at the Screen Printing Factory, I've always been wanting to put stuff up on the windows, and I usually do. I got a few things up there, but I've always, I'm like, I'm going to have holiday-themed stuff up there. And, I've been working so hard that I haven't really had much of the opportunity. But this year, I made a concerted effort to try, but I can't find any, I'm sure if I looked a little harder, but I've been to about 4 stores. I can't find no Thanksgiving decorations.
No.
I want a turkey to put on my damn window. I want a turkey. I want a Native American, and I want I want a pilgrim. I'm sorry. I want to put them on my window, and I can't find one. Well, I could find a couple plates with a turkey on it, and I could find a tablecloth, but that doesn't look real well in the window.
Well, the problem is, Mr. Ben Harley, is that, we need to stop stereotyping pilgrims with all them tight clothes on and them hats with the belt around the top of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just too much. I don't know. Yeah, it's like we go from Halloween straight to Christmas.
I don't like it.
And I don't know what's going on.
I like Thanksgiving. I always have liked Thanksgiving.
I do too.
Now, sometimes, you get with your kooky relatives, and I might be the kooky relative to some others.
Right.
So you never know. But I've always enjoyed it. I do enjoy getting together with family, and there was always, from the time I was a kid, my brother and I would be a wrestling show or something going on around that time. We would go to, just meeting with family and having food and stuff. And I don't know. I like it. Yeah. And it just seems like they've kind of just, like you said, glossed over it. But I'm giving Thanksgiving, Tim. I'm giving thanks.
There you go. My Thanksgivings for years and years and years and years have always centered around the rock and roll music, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah, that too.
All I've ever done is play gigs. I've always played gigs, and one of my favorite times of year, as a matter of fact, I think with my family, my extended family, which more or less I mean on my mom's side. But that's the family I know a little bit closer. We just hang out a little bit more. And we would do Thanksgiving together. And I always loved it because there was nothing but food and drinking. Yeah. And really, if you have food and drinking and people, I don't need a whole lot more except one thing, Mr. Ben Harley. Whoa. That is professional football on the television all day.
Yeah.
So really, it's been amazing. Now, as soon as I started really appreciating it is when the rock and roll took over and our friends, The Urge, started this. They asked us to play with them, open up for them on Thanksgiving. Us and Bent, Mr. Rob Wagner's band, believe it or not.
Nice.
All 3 of us, back when I was a wee pup, we all
rock and roll pup.
We all got together and did our not The Urges first. They had been doing it for a little while. Well, then after a while, The Urge, they got busy. They were touring and stuff, and we were up and coming. And they basically, I don't know how engineered this was by who or what, but the way it went down is they basically handed us Thanksgiving and they played Christmas. So The Urge would have a big Christmas show, a holiday show every year, and we would do a Thanksgiving show. This went on for quite a while. A lot of people around here, if you ask them, they'll tell you they know exactly what we're talking about.
Sure.
But time went on. Everybody did their own thing, and Mr. Ben Harley, I am still rocking and rolling on the Thanksgiving holiday. Not on Thanksgiving itself, but you might as well be. But the day after Thanksgiving, the knuckleheads that got me into this whole mess, the Urge is having us play with them again the day after Thanksgiving on Black Friday. Black Friday,
yes, yeah.
I'd like to tell everybody coming to this show that Fragile Porcelain Mice will have Black Friday sales at the merchandise booth. Come and get anything you want. Our shirts, our CDs, our perfect Christmas stuffers. So, yes.
I might need to get me something, Timo. Maybe a T-shirt. I need a Fragile Porcelain Mice T-shirt.
I'll have to look and find one. I know the last one we did. I know the last one we did, we took the logo from Facebook for Fragile Porcelain Mice. And on the back we put a thumbs down and we put a hashtag Team Negative.
I love it.
Yeah. So we're ready. We're ready to do this with the Urge. Logic is going to be playing as well. They played around here for a little while. I think they moved out to California or something. I was aware of them. I can't recall if we had played with them, but I know I've seen them. This is a long time ago. It's hard for me. It's a haze. It's an alcoholic haze.
I believe it. Yeah.
So, but I do know them, and they'll be playing. So this is going to be a really good, fun show. So, Mr. Ben Harley, so the day after Thanksgiving, as you're listening to this week, I am going to go to the pageant in St. Louis. I'm going to rock. And then I'm going to roll.
You're gonna definitely roll, won't you? Roll on home back to the comforts of Dermal Ridge.
Hey, don't judge me too hard. Odds are better than not that Joey Ramone ate glue. So don't judge me. I just might want to come home and sit in my Batman underwear and eat glue myself.
You got the Johnny Ramone, I think, syndrome. Yeah, he just is. Yeah. Chuck Berry split. Gets to go Splitsville as soon as the show's over.
Right. No, I think I'm gonna.
You'll hang out a little, right? Maybe.
No, I'm gonna ride this one out. I can't get out of the damn place. It's a big concert hall, so I can't think. It's not like the Foo Bar or something like that. And in fairness, I've missed some good things taken off out of before shows. So, you play the odds and you don't always win when you do that.
Right.
But, it's going to be a good time. We're looking forward to Mr. Ben Harley.
I bet. It sounds like it.
Little sad news, Mr. Ben Harley. I'm sure this is a bit of a conflict for you given our last show. We had a lot of talk about superheroes and Marvel and stuff. Yeah. I think Stan Lee couldn't handle it anymore and he passed away.
Yeah,
so I'm blaming you, Ben Harley. I am blaming you.
I don't blame you.
I'm blaming you for just getting into the crosshairs all the time. But sad to hear. The man was 95 years old. As my brother Dano said, that's a good run.
That's a hell of a run, my friend. He did. He had a great run. And I didn't realize he was that old, and God bless him, though. And I was saying about the other day, because I felt sad, there's a lot. I'm sure there was plenty of comic book nerds crying in their Lucky Charms, you know. And I felt bad for them, but I felt more bad for Stan Lee and his family. Yeah. And I think just looking back at it, what that guy did is unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Just unreal.
Yeah.
And brought a lot of characters to fruition that are very iconic. Sayings, you know what I mean? Or quotes that will always be, as part of our, what do you say, our lexicon, Timo, maybe?
Right. And the thing is, too, is that, and not comparing
phrases, I guess.
Yes. And not comparing Marvel and DC, but, Marvel always had a Stan Lee.
Yeah.
And Stan Lee invented and created most of those characters, a lot of those, especially the classic ones. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That to me was also a difference, that the DC wasn't like that. It was more, there was no figurehead like that, at least not one that's out in the public eye. And a lot of different people came up with different characters. So it's just different. That's all. Yeah. I mean, it's a different way. And I think the people like Marvel might like that, might like a little bit more of that streamlined coming from one spot. And then the DC was a little bit more like, one's Apple, one's Microsoft. One's open source, one's not. You know what I'm saying? Right. But either way, they both influenced each other for the better, I think. And we were talking about this last week about comic books, Ben Harley. I know you get upset because, you don't like people arguing over the Marvel and DC. And if they did, you'd prefer DC, but it sounds to me like you just don't want people to argue about it. You know,
no, we shouldn't.
Yeah.
No.
And I don't, I don't argue about it. Sometimes when I'm saying I like the DC or Marvel movies better, it's not because I like one or the other more. I admittedly like Marvel more. I just grew up with it more, but it doesn't mean I don't like the other. I couldn't wait for like the Superman. Are you Ben Harley at 6 o'clock on MeTV every week on this house? There is a fantastic Wonder Woman show that apparently came from the 1970s.
It was very fantastic.
That's on my television program.
To look at it, at least.
Yeah. So I watch it. I still watch it every week, at least a little bit of it. I swear to you, I do. And I love Wonder Woman. And I used to love Superman and all that stuff too. It was great. But I was a Marvel guy, and Stan Lee, that's just you kind of look at the guy, you're like, that guy created all this stuff. And you listen to him talk and everything, and you're like, man, it's just kind of odd. You'd think that he'd like invent a better bus stop or something, not like create these spandex superheroes.
I've always enjoyed Stan Lee. Like I enjoyed him much more when I was younger and watching stuff on him and things. And I like him. I looked at him as a character, and I think he invented the Stan Lee character somewhat.
I think so.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he wasn't much different than that, though. I think he looked to me like a genuine nice guy. I don't know. I didn't work for him or anything like that, so who knows? You know what I mean? So
you ain't got time.
No, I ain't got time. I had too much to do, Stanley. Way too much going, buddy. But I guess towards the end of his life, which I'm not putting this on him by any means, but I got a little tired of every movie, there he was, there's Stan Lee. And then like, for me, it was just a little too nerdy. Like, okay, I've had enough, man. Just all right.
Oversaturated.
Give me the movie without that. I don't. That's where it started to become like these movies are becoming a caricature of themselves. I'm like, oh my god.
We get oversaturated by things, and I think in the internet age now we're starting to see what oversaturation looks like, and it's frightening. Yeah. It's frightening. So look at what happened to The Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's frightening how oversaturated that was. I've never seen anything like it. And I think that's what's happening with everything. Yeah.
We saw it firsthand. Yeah. But I am sad about his passing. But he I'm going to quote Dano. Dano Saban. Mm-hmm. He had a good run, a great run.
He did have a good run. Yeah.
And God bless him. He brought a lot of joy to this world and will always be remembered forever. Right. So that he also has that going for him. Right. You know what I mean? So maybe Stan Lee was immortal because he is now, right?
That's right. Ben Harley, I'm going to tell you one thing that Stan Lee, and I know I talk Marvel, and I like Marvel a whole lot more, but I'm going to tell you one thing that Stan Lee never did.
Kiss my butt.
No, I'm going to tell you something Stan Lee never did do.
What's that?
He never created Wonder Woman. Enough said. Enough said. Excelsior that. Yeah. So, but condolences.
He created some big boob girls. So
I know. He made a good run at it too. Yeah. So, but condolences to friends and family. Yeah. It's Stan Lee, and what an icon, and affected our world incredibly. And I mean, I don't think we even noticed when we were kids how the world was being affected by this stuff, and now we do.
Sure. Now we do, yeah.
So, good. Yeah, interesting. So, well, let me get some stuff here that I watched, Mr. Ben Harley. Run through it real fast.
You watched some stuff this week?
I did. I've been working harder, getting through this stuff faster, and it feels like I'm going faster. I can feel the wind in my little hair follicles when I'm doing this. But darn it just seems like the shows keep staying the same length. So I'm blaming you. That's my new thing. I'm blaming you now. So
I keep adding more stuff. Keep talking, droning on.
All right. So here we go. So now I didn't write down the year for this. Gosh, darn it. But it's new. It's like 2016 or something like that.
Oh, wow. No wonder you didn't write it down.
Children of the Corn Runaway. Now, I am not somebody who likes to... let's see. The Children of the Corn movies go as this that I enjoy. Children of the Corn... And that's about it. So
yeah, and I really love Children of the Corn. I love that movie, but I'll follow you right down that road.
Right,
That's
right.
it. I'm done after that.
So I'm not a Children of the Corn sequel guy, all right? But I did happen to be poking my nose around Mr. Ben Harley. You know, I poke my nose around movies and what's going on. I try to keep my eyeball on it. Not that I'm waving my cane at it, Mr. Ben Harley. Still waving my cane at it. You goddamn kids at your movies. But I still keep an eye on it, just like an elderly grandfather should, you know. So I did see that this movie was directed by John Gulager, Clu Gulager's son, who did the Feast films.
Yeah, okay.
Those were outrageously entertaining. I mean, so
out of control.
Right.
Really out of control. But good.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
So I decided to give this one a shot just to give Mr. Gulager a little bit of I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, I'll put it this way. It's not a John Gulager film, but it's not bad. It's okay. You don't have to watch really any of the other movies to see it. It's kind of a loosely based. It's basically two people that escaped from Gatlin or whatever that town is that in the original film. So it's a woman and a kid that escaped from it, and then of course they're being haunted by the he who walks behind the rose nonsense, all that stuff. So but the interesting thing is I was watching, I'm like, I think it's shot in the exact same town as Feast 2 and 3 at least.
Really?
I kept thinking about, like, I remember there was train tracks and the woman was walking toward the train, and it was the same town, I think so. But you know what? It's okay. It's all right. It's not. I don't think I'm going to watch it again, but I did watch it, and it was like, yeah, all right. But it definitely does not have that energy. Like Feast 2 and 3 did. Now he's doing like the 9th sequel to this film, so I don't, who knows? But I can't recommend it, but I'm not pooping on it either. Not pooping. Okay. Let's see here. Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley. Let's see here. Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley. I kind of continued on this little minor freak out that we've been doing here. I watched Amityville 3D, otherwise known as Amityville the Demon. Yes. Toady Roberts, Tess Harper, Meg Ryan, her first film role, I do believe. Robert Joy from Land of the Dead. Lori Loughlin is in that too. She's a cutie. After watching all three of these, I think there's something horribly wrong with all of the Amityville films.
Yeah. There's something really wrong.
Right. And every time I watch one of them, I think, well, this is probably my favorite one, I guess. Now I've watched the third one. I'm like, that's probably my favorite one, I guess. I don't know.
I can't tell.
I don't know, Mr. Ben Harley. Some of these movies are like, this one has more of a standard early 80s kind of feel to it.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen that one either.
Yeah,
so I can't give you much of an opinion on that.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of goofy. It was a 3D. It was a 3D film.
Yeah.
I don't know, but all these movies have like positives and negatives to them.
Yeah,
and God, they all look different. I mean, they're just different films. This one looks very different than the other two. The tone of it is different, but this one's a little bit. I mean, the key on the well a little bit more, which is always a good thing in the basement.
They do, don't they? Yeah.
They do have a little bit more of a demon-y kind of creature that comes out of the. Well, people die in pretty gross ways and get attacked and flies and everything. So it's kind of the same thing, but it's okay. It was all right. It was a time waster. I don't think I think I want to like these movies more than I do. They're just kind of more enjoyable time wasters. I just don't have a lot of attachment to them, I guess, or whatever. But,
right.
Hey, you know what? It was a fun little time to sit there watch it. Let's see here. Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah.
Here you go. From 1944. Are you feeling better? 1944.
A little better. I know you got to be feeling a little better. More in your wheelhouse right there, my man.
Well, Angio picked this one out. So we're sitting at, this is actually last night. Angio, I say, what do you want to look at? I do it all the time. We know this. I give her the choice of what kind of movie, and then I'll pick one out. So last night she says, now here's a new one. Now we do have a new term, Jawsy. Things can be jawsy, a little jawsy, right? Okay, so
jawsy and jawsy.
Last night she says something Sherlock Holmesy.
That's a new one. That's a good one. I like that one a lot, actually.
Something Sherlock Holmesy. So, Mr. Ben Harley, not one to like to disappoint, especially a pretty lady.
Who asked to watch a Sherlock Holmes film? You never,
right. I pulled out a movie. Yeah. I pulled out Sherlock Holmes, The Scarlet Claw.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
with Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce, the classics.
You really were trying to wow her, weren't you?
Oh, I did. I said, is this Sherlock Holmesy enough? I mean, can you imagine I pop in the DVD and old Basil Rathbone's and all of his face particles are right there looking at you.
That's awesome.
This is a good one, though, because this one has more of a horror kind of. This is a dark one. This is like a spooky, legendary creature one that Holmes has to figure out. He has to figure out what's going on. So it's actually a little rougher than Hound of the Baskervilles. It's a little more of a horror thing. Both slasher and supernatural kind of elements that Holmes has to karate chop his way through, I guess. It was fun, though. I mean, that was actually pretty good. These movies are like an hour long, too. Nigel Bruce as Watson is without equal. I think as far as that goes. Good time watching that. Good time. Let's see. Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley. I'm going backwards now. Getting older. Getting a little older. I'm going to jump around here. We're getting a little older. From 1932, starring Bela Lugosi. Watched White Zombie.
Woo, White Zombie.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that movie. That's a good Lugosi movie. It's another short one too, by the way. But this was a creepy zombie movie. It had some creepy moments to it, and some of the sets were just great. There's like that sugar mill type place, and it almost has some of the Universal Gothic feels to it, like giant wooden, gears and things that zombies are pushing to keep moving and keep things working and stuff. And Lugosi, he's not the main dick in the movie, but boy, he's still a dick. He still plays
a pretty good dick then. Yeah.
If I don't care how this would happen, you never know anymore. And I don't think this is ever going to happen. But again, as I said, you never know anymore.
You never know.
If I ever run across Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
When I shake his hand, I don't care if it's impolite or not. I ain't looking in his eyes. I ain't
don't do it.
I'm not doing it. No. Nope. If he starts wringing his hands, I'm out. I'm out the door. So anyway, a few moments to Ben Harley, and I know you like these. I waited for these. Here we go. Running through them. Well, you know what? I think this is from 1982. Some of these dates I didn't write down, Mr. Ben Harley. I must have good drugs.
I'm very surprised.
I do believe this is 1982, though. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think
that's a hell of a good year.
Well, I think it was Friday the 13th, Part 3, 3D.
So you were going 3D.
We did.
Freak out.
Angio, myself, and our new little Jason Voorhees fan, Chance.
Chance Voorhees.
Chance, sat down in the sunroom and we watched on Saturday evening and watched Friday the 13th in 3 dimensions with the little paper glasses. That's all they have out right now is a paper glasses 3D.
Yeah.
So we watched that and had a good time watching it.
Did you? For
the little paper glasses thing, the 3D is not too bad. It's not too bad. So, but it was fun.
Enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was fun, and I don't watch that one a whole lot.
Yeah.
Something I don't.
It's a good one, though.
It's what I consider the stereotypical Friday the 13th movie. It doesn't really advance anything. It's literally just kids getting ripped to shreds. There's really not much plot. It doesn't do. No. You could almost go from not totally, but you could almost go from. Really, the only thing that happens is he gets his hockey mask.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. And then if you remember the fourth one. They collect Jason's supposed body and takes him to the morgue. I do believe that's how it starts out. So it really, there's not much that happens. And I think most of these 3D movies that were coming out, including Amityville, it's been a 3D freak out. I didn't watch Amityville in 3D, but so it's been.
Why not?
Well, I don't know because I have it on a 3D disc. But we just didn't go on that TV.
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
it's not worth it, probably.
Well, I didn't really.
I like this one. This is the one I like. I like this.
It might have helped the Friday or the Amityville 3D to see a couple things fly in my lap. I don't know. But the Friday 13th, it was good. It kind of reminded me of Richard Brooker, who was a nice fella. Now you and I believe Joel knew him a lot better than I did. I just came in contact with him, but from everything I knew, he was a nice fella too. It's sad to see him go.
Super nice, super nice guy. Yeah, had a few good times, drank some spirits with Richard Brooker and stuff. But yeah, he super nice guy. Super nice guy. I'm actually looking at a Richard Brooker signed mask right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, we enjoyed watching it. So we'll probably move on to part 4 next, which is actually one of my favorite ones, if not my favorite one. Well, the second one's my favorite one. I think 4th is probably my second.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more, Mr. Bud Harley. First up from 1977. I think I even texted you about this one. We watched The White Buffalo.
Yes. That's why you're my good friend.
With Charles Bronson, Will Sampson, Jack Warden. Who else? Who else is in it? Clint Walker. Clint
Walker. Yeah, he's salty. He's a bad. Plays another bad guy.
Yeah, he's
that one, doesn't he?
He's a jerk in that one.
Got
a little John Carradine cameo in it too, which is always fun.
That's right.
You know what a strange movie. When I watch this movie, I don't necessarily like intently watch it as much as I sit there and blow my own mind.
Yeah,
that I don't think I'd even heard of that movie until a few years back. And I don't know how it escaped me. And you can ask
It's just weird. It's weird because it happens. You think about it. Like, it's just
but not to me, it
sometimes.
doesn't.
No, not really. But sometimes it's just, some of them sneak past you. And I'm surprised. I'm super surprised about this one that it did. Sorry, but I won't sneak past you.
Well, it depends on how because the whole movie I was telling NGO 2 things. One, I kept repeating this. This is a weird movie. And then the other thing is, I can't believe this got past me. And I even went and watched the trailer. I'm like, would the trailer make me not want to see it? And I watched the trailer. I'm like, no, it's kind of got an Orca kind of feel to it. Well, it's Dino De Laurentiis, so it was made around the same time.
Same guy that made Orca, I think made that too. Right?
Right. Yeah, Dino
Buffalo,
did. Yeah. So it's like...
No, I mean the same guy that made the mechanical
Carlo
Orca.
Rambaldi? I think he did E.T. actually too, but he probably did
the
do
Buffalo as well. Yeah, I think I could be wrong.
I think you might be right because Carlo Rambaldi, he did a lot of work, especially back in late 70s, early 80s. I don't know what happened. The reason I went back again to go back to I watched the trailers because I'm wondering, was this presented as more of a Western? Because I was a little kid, I wasn't into Westerns.
Right.
So was that what it was? I don't know. Did it not play on television enough? I know it wasn't a huge hit. I know that. It wasn't. And so it's like, well, how did it happen? How did it get by? I don't know, and I don't know if I'm ever going to know Ben Harley, and I don't know if I can live with that.
I don't think you
I don't know if I can live with that. I'm just telling you right now. Just warning you.
It's weird. I know, like, I remember this one real fondly. I just loved this movie when it, but this was another Showtime, standard for me or hit, and I just, I fell in love with this movie mostly because, I did like Westerns. I wasn't the biggest Western nut. I mean, I did watch them. Okay. And I did enjoy them, but like, this was great for me. It was like, it's like everything. It was like Grizzly and Jaws and everything else, Orca. Because I'm like, giant buffalo, and it was. And I just loved. I actually kind of liked it because it's very dreamy. It's very dreamlike, and I think it has to do with all the what carries he Wild Bill Hickok or something.
Yeah, the Bronson's Wild Bill Hickok, and then I think Will Sampson's Crazy Horse.
Crazy Horse, that's it, yeah.
And then old Jack Warden's One Eye. Whatever.
One Eye.
Yeah. So that's weird. You're right. That's a weird fantasy to begin with.
He keeps having the dreams about the buffalo and stuff. So it does have a real weird, dreamy-like quality. But I enjoyed it. When I was a kid, this was one of the movies. When this came on, I was just like glued to the television. I was just absolutely glued, Same thing with Orca and stuff too, just like absolutely just glued.
Right.
I love these films. I know they're whatever. They might not be the best in some people's book, but to me they are. I just, I can't get enough of White Buffalo. Let me tell you that. All right. So, my things, I need to get a White Buffalo poster, Timo. That's one thing I've been looking to get to. I'm going to get me a nice one someday, or an original.
Gotcha.
That's one thing. For once I get my house, me house.
There you go. There you go. Well, I tell you right now, everything you just explained is why I'm blown away that I didn't.
Yeah.
And I know I didn't see it. I know I didn't see it. So if I didn't see it, I didn't know about it. And so I don't know how the hell it happened. I really don't. I must have been just where I lived. I might not even played around me. 77, I guess I lived in Mattoon, Illinois. I don't know if I would have known. I was little. I was 4 years old or something, So that's when those couple years difference between us really makes a difference, is those really young years,
Well, that's what with the King Kong and this and and Orca, and those were such big for me because of Showtime.
Right.
And that's what it was. If it wasn't for that, I might not have been so influenced by them, to tell you the truth. No, I would have seen them at some point.
Yeah.
But it was,
right.
Well,
I
did see them in the theaters.
Yeah, you didn't see them in theaters?
To have my dad, yeah.
You did see it in theaters?
White Buffalo, I'm not sure that I did, buddy. No,
okay.
I did see Orca and King Kong, and stuff. So I was lucky enough to see those when I was younger in the theater. My dad took me to see Orca and stuff, so. Because he had read the book.
Right.
Actually, yeah. So,
dumbass
book. Dumb book.
Right. Well, last time
why he didn't like it, he's like, I don't even understand this. It's nothing even like it.
Dad, there's a killer whale. That's all you need to know.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Last up, Mr. Ben Harley, from 1996. We've kind of been talking about this movie a little bit, so I decided to look at it. I did watch Bad Moon.
Oh yeah,
with Mariel Hemingway.
Hemingway. Yeah.
And Mason Gamble is your.
Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, Dennis the Menace guy. Yeah, written and directed by Eric Red, the Hitcher. Eric Red,
Red.
Yes, and also did Body Parts. So I like Eric Red's movies, to be honest with you. So I'll tell you what, Ben Harley, that's got to be Bad Moon. The older I get, the older it gets. It's becoming a better werewolf movie. I think so. It's a good werewolf.
It's a good one.
It's a good werewolf. Yeah. It's slightly rubber mask looking, just a little bit, but I'll take that over slightly CG looking.
Yes, me too.
Terrible transformation. As a matter of fact, it was a legendarily.
There's your CGI.
Well, it was a legendarily bad transformation, and Eric Red went back and I think fixed it. They went back and did the transformation different. Yeah. So it's not as bad. It's still not great. But it's not as bad. So it doesn't stick out quite as bad. I mean, that was horrible. I think even they all thought it was horrible. It's like, oh, God. Those, when they were still, that's CG still clumsy.
Sure.
But if you haven't made it through yet, I know you're kind of going back to watch this. If you haven't, go back, because it's good. It's a good film. It's not long. Good acting. It's got that nice, safe Hollywood production kind of feel. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah.
It
does. Yeah. And I think
feels theatrical.
Right. And it's shot well. And also what I liked about it has a feel to it. It's very, because they're kind of isolated.
Yes.
Because she lives out with her son and the dog.
Right.
Is it Thor? Right?
Yes, Thor? It is Thor. I was correct. Yep.
Yeah. So they kind of live out, and then when he comes to visit, it's a lot of wilderness out there and it's pretty lonely. So I think that lends to the film a lot.
Sure. I agree.
You know me, I like that stuff. I don't know why.
I'm living in it, Mr. Ben Harley. I know exactly what you mean.
Yes.
So I got no werewolves yet, but my brother hasn't bought one of those streamlined camper things either. So he hasn't tried to stay on my property. So I'll keep an eye out for that if you don't mind. So that's about it. But good movie though. Good werewolf movie. Very good werewolf movie. Highly recommend if people haven't seen Bad Moon to go check it out. Just a fun popcorn horror film. It's got a little heart to it also, which is good, and it doesn't overdo the heart, but makes it part of the story. And
and it makes you feel a little edgy at times, because you do kind of care about the characters. It's not like you hate them.
No, they're all family members.
Exactly.
They're brothers and sisters and stuff, so it's a little tense, watch that. So, what you got, Mr. Ben Harley? That's what I got.
Nothing. So let's just go on. No, hold on, Tim.
Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, you just gave me the. All right.
First up,
real quick. There's a couple of things I want to go through just real quick, Timo. They're not quite horror related, but something I need to speak of. Just a little. A little. All right. I want to say I know we're in the space-time continuum, but my favorite goaltender of all time, Martin Brodeur, and I will not speak French, Timo, but he went into the he went into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hall of Fame, Ben Harley.
Yes, in the space-time continuum, it would have been yesterday, but So I'm very, very proud of that fact. It was nice to see him go in. I won't pull my soapbox out because we'll be talking about this for an hour, but
you go do that in your hockey podcast.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm very happy for him. God bless him, and very excited. But no, so he's a New Jersey Devil, so there's your little horror thing there.
New Jersey Devil.
So, he was a New Jersey Devil, so there.
Oh, we've been Holly.
Yeah, Timo. I have to mention this, Timo, because this morning after I watched one of our movies that we are reviewing. Believe it or not, Billy Shea, who works here, came through on something nice for a change. Yeah, he has the WWE network, so he gave me the passcode. So I've been able to watch my favorite wrestling show pretty much ever, which was the World Championship Wrestling when it was on 6:05 to 8:05.
The mother thiep.
On TBS. Yeah. Oh. Back when it was just they just had the little set and they would beat up on jobbers. Yeah. And come out and do their interviews.
WCW, Saturday night. This is the mother thiep on WTBF.
Yes. Yes.
Saw it a few times.
Yeah. So this morning I watched one, buddy, and I have to mention it because some stuff that you might be interested in because I know you're a Harley race fan.
Oh, yeah. I like the Harley race.
And Harley
I'm from St. Louis, man. Yeah.
Hey. Harley Race said today, that's why I have to mention it to my friend Timo, Harley Race is going to take on Ric Flair. And he said, you know where I'm from, Ric Flair? I'm from that place with the arch.
Yep.
He said, so they were going for the title match. This would have been 86.
Oh,
I don't know, Timo. You might have been there.
I remember it. They had on the news, man. Those things went for like an hour. I mean, they were it went on and on and on. And I'll tell you what, man, they would.
Great matches, man.
Beat each other up pretty good.
I tell you what. Timo, watching those guys, talk about the looking like a forehead that met a not a meat grinder, but a cheese grinder.
Right,
wow.
Right.
Ooh-wee. Yeah. And I'm over here tapping on my little chicken scratch.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Anyways, loved it. Was great to see. So he mentioned St. Louis. And then, Timo, I know you'll appreciate this because Ric Flair came out a little bit later and said that he'd been talking to his lawyer about some stuff. But he said that not even Bigfoot himself can follow in Ric Flair's footsteps. So I thought you would appreciate it.
He looks like he's shuffling when he does. That's why he doesn't. Yeah.
I thought you'd appreciate that not only Harley Race mentioned your hometown, well, somewhat your home, right? That area.
Absolutely it is, yeah.
Yes, and that also that Ric Flair mentioned Bigfoot. So
nice.
I could not be more happy or thrilled to be watching that old show. Oh, it had me in tears, almost laugh. I had to rewind it. I said, "Did he just say Bigfoot?" Sure enough. I heard him mention his lawyer, but once he mentioned
his
Bigfoot,
lawyer gave him advice and used Bigfoot. That's great. That'll give you the utmost confidence in his abilities as a lawyer. Yeah,
he gave me faith in pro wrestling all over again. All right, Timo. Couple things here that I want to mention. One thing, most all these are either documentaries type things. One is I don't really care for much of that Eli Roth documentary that you and I both have been.
I haven't been able to get back to it. I can't do it.
They did do the giant monster.
How was
thing,
that?
They did the thing. Well, it was okay. They gave some props to the thing, which I was really happy about.
Right.
To Jaws, so that's cool. I didn't see no Godzilla, so I wasn't real happy about that. But whatever, who cares? Anyways, one thing out of all that I've watched, one guy, and I'm not even sure. I think he might have been a special effects guy or something, but. The best point out of all that stuff that was made is this gentleman said, when you take away the mystery or when you explain horror, you take away the mystery.
Yeah.
And I damn near got out of my chair and clapped.
Yeah.
Like I was like, there it is. You take all this other stuff you've been talking about, all the inners and outers and what was going on at the time and the pressures of society and blah, blah, blah. No, zip it. That guy right there just nailed it. Raise that guy's hand in victory and make him the fucking next director of a movie.
Right.
Forget the rest of it, okay? So that's all I want to say about the rest of Eli Roth.
No, he's right, though. We always talk about that.
I loved it.
We always talk about that,
yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was a very good point. One thing here, Tim, I watched the other day that you might enjoy. Actually, all these that I'm going to mention, you would probably enjoy. Okay. This one, I don't know. You might not. I was looking for some Bigfoot stuff on YouTube. I haven't done it in a while, so I was looking on there, and I came across it's called Sasquatch on Lake Superior. And you know, Timo, me and my Great Lakes, and I'm damn near Canadian.
I know.
And the Great Lakes are pretty big. And you can see them from space, and they're not too far from here. So I thought, this might be nice. So I did watch this, and it was only like 30 minutes long. I was thinking about sending it to you, or if you have a chance, you could find it on YouTube. But it's basically some Canadians talking about their experiences with Bigfoot, seeing Bigfoot. But they're really good. You can tell these guys aren't. They're not. And I know how much you like the interviews or the sightings or the stuff like that. So you can tell these guys aren't really they're not acting or whatnot. And it's just it was kind of refreshing. It's just the camera and them guys, and they're explaining. And I think there's maybe 4 different ones. One I found kind of interesting. It was a big guy who was he said, I work odd jobs. I go up in the bush. They use the term bush quite a bit in this.
I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah, so you might enjoy it just for that.
I'm starting to grow up a little bit. I'm still laughing and saying stuff, but I'm gonna let go with that. Yeah.
But it was fairly interesting. Stuff the way these guys would talk about it. And Tim, okay, I kid around it, but I am close to Canada. Yeah. I know a lot of Canadians. I grew up with my brother playing a lot in Canada. So I have a kinship with Canadians. I do, and I like the way their speech pattern is, the way they talk, and the way they tell us. Because I hear a lot of fun stories from the older hockey players, Canadian hockey players, and stuff, and it's fun. So I enjoyed it. And this one guy, just the way he told the story was kind of funny. Maybe he took a little longer to tell it. Maybe that's why it takes so long to tell a damn story. But I did enjoy his thing. They were up there basically just like doing some work with trees, and he's like, I'm basically just there as the grunt work. The other guy's the scientist or the guy that's doing the stuff. Right. But basically, like a tree root was thrown at him, like a huge tree root, and he's like, they're thinking, someone's doing this to us, whatever. And this guy that's telling the story is a big burly guy that I wouldn't want punching me at all. I wouldn't want the guy. I wouldn't want to take a plate of food from the guy. I wouldn't want him coming at me. So it's a big dude, right? So he's like, well, I'm a little scared. He's like, and then another one came. He's like, and it landed like, if I wouldn't have moved, it would have clocked me right in the head. So he said, I went over to basically investigate. And he said, what really scared me more than anything is when I went over there, that he said, I saw a Bigfoot. That's what it was. I know a bear. I know these things. He's like, but what scared me is the intelligence of the thing, because it just like turned and was like hiding, like trying to make itself blend in with its surroundings. Right. Yeah. It wasn't like trying, Right. And he said, I could see the hair moving, and I said, I really got scared, and I turned before it would turn, because I was like, if this thing was to come at me, he said it would just destroy me, and it made him afraid. He was so afraid when he went back, he didn't want to tell the guy what he saw. He's like, I don't want this guy to think I'm a fucking maniac. I need this job, basically, Right. So the bottom line, you might enjoy it for the fact that there's some really cool stories, and I like hearing those too. Because there's something different. Like he said, there was something a little different. Like the Bigfoot wasn't standing there like, I'm going to pound you into cement,
Sure,
or pound you into sand. But I'm going, but it was trying to hide, but this guy was smart enough to say, I know what this is. This is something, and he said, I froze. Right. My legs got real stiff. And I forget what else he said happened to him, but he said, and the same thing would happen to anybody. Right. You would flip out. First off, you would be like, oh my God, this is real.
So is he logging? Is that what?
Yeah. Well, basically they were up there kind of like taking soil samples and stuff like that. Okay. I think. So
maybe clearing out the underbrush or something like that. Or?
Yeah. and whatever was there didn't like them being there. And like I said, he said whatever it threw. What I thought was funny, it threw. You usually hear about rocks and stuff, but it had pulled whatever this stump out of the ground and threw a snot of at them. And I thought I really enjoyed it. It was fun to listen to them. It's not super exciting. It's not like, oh wow. Some of them are like, oh, okay, cool. But it's cool to hear, especially since it's not, well, from here, it's probably pretty damn far from me. There's a long ways. Canada's pretty big, and it's way up there. So it might be
large
pretty
and in
far.
charge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I like some of these things. Like these guys say, I'm out in the middle of flipping nowhere, and it's fucking 30 below zero, and something stands out of the tree line and then steps back in. I hadn't seen a car in 2 hours. I'm so deep out. Who the hell's standing out there in the middle of, so.
Right. Well, that's the thing too, because, my where I'm going now, and I haven't watched a Bigfoot thing in a while. Something odd has happened especially since I lived out here, and we've talked about it on the show, hearing different things, starting to understand that, maybe some of this stuff is just coincidence. I'm hearing I'm hearing crazier stuff than I've heard people on Bigfoot shows say.
Yeah.
So, and seeing there's tree structures back here. Next time you're here, we'll walk back here.
Wicked witch out there, man.
Oh, we got the Saxtown witch. That's right. So, but there's a couple things I'm still hanging on though. And you got somebody who, like, let's say a logger or doing something out in the Forestry Service, and they see something clearly. I'm still listening to you. Still listening to you too. Notice you never hear like a logger ranger ever mention noises. You ever notice that?
No. Yeah.
You ever notice that? Because they're like me. They get out there and like, oh, okay. Like you're like, okay. Like immediately that you have to spend a lot of time. And what your activity greatly influences what you hear.
Yeah.
So if you're out there chopping trees down and stuff like that, trust me, you're chopping trees down. Things are not around you. Now, I think it's interesting when they're doing things like that. I'm not saying they were logging necessarily, but when they're out there making a commotion and something curious comes up and looks, I'm listening to you. Yeah. I'm listening to you. But I guarantee for the most part, like if they had a chainsaw out there and stuff, if you see something curious, that's fine. But you have to sit there for a long time quietly over a long period of time to start acclimating yourself to what you're hearing and seeing and stuff, and then get it back. And it changes over time a little bit. Yeah. However, like I said, seeing something with their own eyes that they are clearly saying this is something different. I'm not saying they're still not mistaken. We both know that. And you could be. You could be freaked out when you see something because a bear is fucking scary. Okay. Yeah. But it still keeps my ears on. Yeah. You have a tangible sighting of something. You're describing what you saw. Describing what you saw is a lot easier than than convincing me that you're hearing something. There's a lot of things out there. So I'm with you.
There was some interesting stuff in it. Like a gentleman got chased out by one, and there was a tree structure, but he was saying basically the thing was ripped out, like the way it was positioned and everything. He said you can see the fresh dirt. Like this thing was basically get out, don't go this way, and don't go this way. Go this other, get out.
Yeah.
And scare the shit out of you. I mean, but I don't know.
We've got a tree. We've got a tree here on the side of my property, and it's big. It's very big. It's huge. It's one of the biggest trees we had on our property. Yeah. You couldn't put your arms around it. That's for sure. It's really big. Yeah. Okay. So it uprooted itself and fell down. And it knocked down 2 other trees on the way down and rested on one and cracked one half on the other. On the other side of my property, I have what looks like teepees. Yeah. They're falling on each other. So again,
well, this
I understand.
He kept saying though, he was really adamant about the tree and the root, and you can still see the vines pulled out, and that it wasn't from anywhere. It had been brought there, and
I understand.
It was somewhat interesting.
Right. I understand.
But I'm I'm half and half on that thing. I'm somewhat, I can see that happening, but then I'm like, trees and shit fall, and stuff gets blown a long way.
It does. I can't believe what I see out here. I really can't believe what I see out here. If you would have asked me 2 years ago about things and you know this because we've been talking about it since, and even on the show. Yeah. If you asked me 2 years ago about things, what I was like, I don't know. And now it's very different. Very, very different. But I understand what you're saying, though. All I'm doing is throwing more caution to some of this stuff. That's all.
Oh, yeah. I'm
more
just interested.
caution.
I enjoy the
I am too.
And stuff like that. It's like, not until I have I am a believer. I am. I am. I do. I believe in them now. There was a time that I was not. I was kind of on the fence, really upset about a lot of things. But the more stuff that's come out, the more that you and I talk about and find out on our own too, it's like.
Well, I think you should. I think you should come here without a gig going on or something like that.
Yeah.
And sit with me. I'm only outside to smoke a cigarette, really. Now, I am a at least moderate smoker. Once every hour and a half or something like that, I'll go outside, and that's all. I'm only out there for 5 minutes, but that's a lot of time that most people don't spend. And I'm not making noises. No, I just go out my balcony or something and just sit and just listen and look. And you should. That would be. I think you would appreciate it. I really do think you would appreciate it. It would help you to understand and would help you to clarify some things so that you can focus on the really interesting stuff. Yeah. That's what I've found myself doing. And I have found myself less and less being even interested in a Bigfoot show because I'm experiencing things that they did now. And I understand what those things are. And I also understand that, again, 2 years ago, if I came out here to visit and I sat down and heard some of these things, we'd be on the show. And I'd be, I don't know what I'm telling you, man, but I heard this, well. Yeah. Okay. I mean, Jesus Christ, my dog was barking the other night because somebody's shooting shotguns everywhere. I don't even know where it's coming from. It's not like it's right outside. Yeah. So, but interesting stuff though. Okay. Well,
it was what was cool for me is because it's, like I said, I'm sure it was ways from here. I've been in places in Canada that took a long 2 days to get there. It's making me more interested
right
in going, and I want to start doing my own stuff.
Sure.
Here in Ohio, and then maybe even up Michigan way a little bit, and I'm going to start trying to do, some of my own. I because you and I talk about it. Like I'm done listening to, not done. I appreciate a lot of these things, but I like to go out and just.
It's cathartic for you. You need to get out there yourself and see what you're seeing here, and because
just even to tell you the truth, Tim, just to get myself out, and I know it's not cliche, but just to it gets me out and doing something, or me and my daughters, whatever, out to do something in the woods or hanging out, and that's a plus too. Yeah. So you know
what?
But I'm very much more interested in this subject now than I ever was. Really, I guess Right. So
I would do it. I would go.
It's not because I'm Matt Moneymaker.
No. I'd go around this time of year when the leaves are kind of falling and stuff. You can kind of get yourself around a little bit better, and and there's not as many like nests of things and stuff that you're going to walk into.
Well, I don't want to walk into a Bigfoot nest and get pummeled into sand.
I'm thinking of hornets, but
not that too. That too.
So let's get to our official films, Mr. Ben Harley.
Let's do that.
Let's go. Keep doing them in chronological order. Keep doing them in. All right. So from 1981, Mr. Ben Harley. What was 1981?
Best year in cinema.
That's right. So from 1981, we have the Michael Crichton film. A little bit of a Michael Crichton freak out lately.
We've been on one, haven't we?
A little bit, yeah. This is the film Looker. All right. Let me get you a short storyline synopsis here. Get out, movie guy. All right. Here we go.
All right.
Plastic surgeon Larry Roberts performs a series of minor alterations on a group of models who are seeking perfection. The operations are a resounding success. But when someone starts killing his beautiful patients, Dr. Roberts becomes suspicious and starts investigating. What he uncovers are the mysterious and perhaps murderous activities of a high-tech computer company called Digital Matrix.
That's them.
Okay. Let me start out by saying 81, I think was the year that I decided that I was going to obsess over films the rest of my life. Okay, and I think that's why it's the best year to me, to be honest with you. I mean, for me personally, it's like, okay, I know there's better movies. I know Jaws is a better movie than Looker, and it wasn't 81, so I get it. I know, but we did have American Werewolf and other things like that. Look, Halloween is my favorite film, and that's technically 78, so it is what it is. But this was one of the films that I was obsessing over that I wanted to go see. Main reason is this is inexplicably PG.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the thing is that I actually even looked it up, and it was rated R, but got downgraded to a PG. I have somebody did something rated R to someone else to get that put down to PG. Now, what was interesting about 81 too is I don't think at that point they needed a PG-13 because nobody knew what to do with movies anymore. You would see a rated R movie that could have been almost G, and you see a PG movie that could be almost X. You know, and you just didn't know what the hell anymore was going on. But I kind of obsessed over it because the trailers looked really weird and interesting and different. And the film is really weird, interesting and different. It's different. It's very different. So I was intrigued by it. Let's put it this way. So I'll never forget the film Looker. I just never will. Now, that being said, then I saw it. And remember, I was, 8 years old or something like that. And I saw it. Now, one thing I will say about this, and this isn't even the review of it, but this movie is not for an 8-year-old to watch. Even a little movie brainiac like myself, whose favorite movies at the time were Halloween and The Elephant Man. So I'm just, it just was a little bit.
It was a little much.
Yeah. So now the cast is great. We have Albert Finney, James Coburn, Susan Day is in it. And again, like I said, directed by Michael Crichton. Good supporting cast and everything. But this film is definitely like at that time where movie distribution was kind of the Wild West, and we would go see Looker, and then I would go see Stunt Rock by accident. I know what was going on, right? So here we are. We're right in that pressure cooker of nonsense that we grew up with, that you and I grew up with, Mr. Ben Harley. And so again, this was just something I thought we had to review and go back and talk about. Now, do you remember this being advertised and everything when you were a kid? You don't remember any of this. Okay, so maybe that could be a regional thing. It could be, because remember, again, what I just said about distribution, it was much more regional. So in my region, this was a big film. This was like there was ads for it every other commercial. You saw it and stuff. I couldn't wait. And I don't think I got to go see it at the theater. I don't remember. I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't remember if I saw it, and it might have been because of that shaky PG rating, because I do remember that it was one of those movies that people were kind of going, I don't think that should have been PG. And so your parents hear that kind of thing, and you're out. You're out.
It's out.
You're shell. So okay. So obviously, then this would be the first time you saw it.
Yes.
Well, start speaking, Mr. Ben Harley, on
Looker.
Looker.
I was kind of, when you told me, like, okay, look, rewind. You sent me Looker on Blu-ray, and I'm thinking, all right, well, it sounds a little bit more like an 80s. It sounds like an 80s film, but not a horror 80s film. So, okay, well, we'll see. I trust him. Sorta. He's put me in petri dishes before,
but you always came out in one piece, more or less.
So more or less. Well, my brain pieces in this.
Right.
But so I watched last night when I was watching Ruby. I thought, well, I'm gonna see what the trailer looks like, and I checked out the trailer. I'm like, wow, this is interesting.
That's what I saw when I was a kid, right? On TV, the commercials.
So it looked a little bit. I was like, wow, okay. And I like Albert Finney
and
James Coburn. I like him in like Flint. He's
absolutely yes, sir.
Yeah. So going in, I was pretty intrigued. Plus, it had a lot of hubba hubbas in the trailer.
I figured you'd like that,
yeah. So, and I like them. So, but I watched it this morning, Tim. I know we're in the space-time continuum when it's nice and quiet and stuff. So, it's an interesting film. It really is. It's different. I can't, and I'm not going to break any ground here. It didn't start real super fast for me. It took me a second to get into it. But I think it's a pretty cool story. Once it all kind of unfolds, it's really intriguing for me because this, I'm scared of this type of stuff with the media and commercials and the way they use different things. And I think Tim and I, we've also been talking about maybe little thoughts. I don't want to say thought control stuff, but even with Google now, stuff popping up that I'm thinking, that stuff scares me. Okay,
propaganda.
So that's just
propaganda all over. Yeah. So it's pretty amazing how, not unlike the movie Runaway with Tom Selleck, this is another film which was also Michael Crichton. Remember?
Yeah.
This is also pretty prophetic. Michael Crichton had a good way. I hope there isn't dinosaurs running around outside very much soon, because he also wrote Jurassic Park. But I'm just saying that he was pretty prophetic. I mean, all this stuff. Look, here's something interesting for you, Mr. Ben Harley. That is Looker is the first film with CGI effects in it.
Really?
It beat Tron to the theaters by a year. Yeah, this is the first one.
Wow.
So those little computer graphics you were seeing and stuff like that was all brand new cutting edge stuff. Another reason it looked interesting to me at the time. Not only Tron looked interesting, and then I went and saw Tron and hated it. Hated Tron at the theater, and I was like 9. And I hated it. Hated it. Now,
I don't blame you.
And there's that little side note there. So this was that. But this was at the time, a futuristic what if kind of movie. And the funny thing is, man, all of this, from the plastic surgery to the manipulations with computers to the CG characters.
Yep. They
even have motion capture type devices and things like that are all considered almost standard today, but it wasn't too long ago that was cutting edge stuff.
No.
I mean, so
we got to see old Grand Moff Tarkin again, didn't we? In a Star Wars movie. And I thought of that while I was watching this, like, because they actually, in these things, what they'll do, they'll project actors or actresses onto a screen or onto a set.
Yes.
And so you don't even need actors or actresses. It's all a hologram or type thing, and which is fairly interesting and coming. Soon. So, it's here,
yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's very prophetic, very prophetic. We need to talk about the heavy in this film, because the one guy I always remembered in this film, the bad guy. I never remember I don't really remember James Coburn as much as the bad guy, but I remember Tim Rozovich, the mustache man. Yeah. And by the way, that is his name in the cast. He is the mustache man. So
is he really?
I'm going to give Michael Crichton lots of props on this, because that's exactly what the dude was. Yeah. They don't need to call him Hank or anything. He is the mustache man. That guy, let me tell you, he is a dick.
Yeah.
He's a dick. And listen, the whole thing with this movie is that they make this light gun that shoots light that kind of puts you in a temporarily paralysis, a temporary coma where you kind of lose time. You lose time, almost like a weaponized version of the alien abduction phenomenon in a way. So they shoot you with this light. If you look at the light, then you're
frozen.
You're frozen. You're pretty much in petrified state for a finite amount of time. And that's a lot of the action in this film, is people trying to get their hands on these guns and shoot each other's irises out with light beams and stuff in order to in order to collect the information needed for their characters and stuff. And some of it's really kind of cool. Some of it works really good. Now, again,
really good.
When I was 8 years old or so watching this the first time, and Albert Finney walks into an apartment and a white light flashes and he's standing there still for a little while, I'm like, what? Your brain needs to be slightly developed to follow this in the correct fashion. Let's just put it that way.
Sure. Yeah.
But that was pretty interesting. Here's the other thing, Mr. Ben Harley. It kind of has a late 80s. Remember, this is 81. But the movie has a late 80s John Carpenter movie feel to it a little bit. Yeah,
it does. He actually is a pretty decent character in the film, as far as it's funny though, because he has these glasses on, and if you have these glasses, the effect of the light gun won't hurt you.
Right.
But he always looks like he's ready to go skiing, is what happens, kind of.
Like what, 1992 Oakleys or something like they look like.
They take your whole face almost. It's funny.
Mirrored and everything. They're protective lenses from the light blast or whatever. So they got those too.
So I kind of liked that at first a little bit because you didn't really know who he was. Is he just the main is guy killer or whatever. So I liked that part of it too. But as this movie went on, I seemed to enjoy it more and more. I thought it got better and better to where I thought this is a pretty good movie, and it, like you said, though, it's really ahead of its time as far as what it's saying in this film.
I actually kind of liked it more than Runaway as far as being a prophetic
I did too.
Crichton science fiction thriller, which is what this kind of is. It's
sure.
The other interesting thing is, I don't know if you noticed or not, but the commercial director when they were on the beach, that was Terry Kaiser from Weekend at Bernie's.
Bernie.
And that's who me and Angio and Danny Hicks sat right next to at the last show we were all at. And I looked over and I was like, "That's Terry. It's Terry Kaiser." She's like, "I was like, that guy is in everything, man."
He is. Yeah,
it's amazing when you spend a little time with a character actor, and then the rest of your life you go, "There he is," because he's in everything. You know, these guys are in everything, and rightly so. Rightly so.
Funny. Yeah, it's funny.
I'm going to give Looker a great bape up. You know, I'm kind of with you in this. When I was a kid, I was disappointed in it because when it just was too. It went over my head.
I can see that.
I mean, I knew what was going on, but I didn't really. Okay, who cares? You know, like it wasn't.
Sure.
I needed more monsters or something like that. This wasn't like that. This was the monster in this film is technology, and now that we live in 2018, I embrace this movie fully because the monster is technology, and we're using it right now, complaining about it as we record this show. So it's really a double-edged sword in a way. But I'm going to give it a solid great bape up. I just think it's not even holding up. I think it is getting better. It's not getting any less weird.
Yeah.
But you know, you're right. The women aren't getting any less attractive in it.
No,
as well.
For sure.
There's that.
A little skinny in there, though. A little bit too skinny.
You know, I'm going to agree with that.
I knew you.
I'm going to agree. Anyway, fun movie, great bape up, Mr. Ben Harley for Looker. What you going to do?
I'm going to give it just a standard great bape.
Yeah, it's
not to the rafters, but I did enjoy it. And I think for what it was saying, it was pretty spot on for what's kind of happening right now. It really is.
Absolutely.
So. Almost terrifying.
Yes. All right, let's get to our next film, Mr. Ben Harley from 1983. So we're right in there. This is an 80s week. That's right. Yeah. 80s week. We have the film Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, Sleepaway Camp.
Let me get you the movie guy again. Get you short storyline synopsis. Here we go. Angela Baker, a traumatized and very shy young girl, is sent to summer camp with her cousin. Shortly after her arrival, anyone with sinister or less than honorable intentions gets their comeuppance. Who writes these things? We talked about this a little bit earlier, a few weeks ago. Me and Joe and I sat down and watched it. She had mentioned she had never seen it. Have you never seen it?
I swear I had, and I remember a lot of this film, but I don't know if I just blocked out because of the ending.
That's why I told you that everybody remembers it because of the ending.
I don't know what happened, but most of this film, I'm like, I remember this, but then there was a lot I didn't. So it might have just been something I saw just way too long ago.
Well, there's a boating accident of some sort in the beginning. There's a brother and a sister, and one of the siblings gets killed in the accident. Okay, so cut forward that the Angela, who is the survivor of the two children accident, is living with their cousin and aunt or something like that, and they're getting sent away to summer camp together. Now, Felissa Rose, who is a well-known woman on the circuit, on the convention circuit, and Jonathan Tiersten, who for a while was doing shows. I'm not sure why he didn't, but I think he had actually told me that he had gone off the circuit, didn't want to do them anymore. Didn't tell me why or anything like that. I met him a little bit through Danny Hicks. So he didn't actually introduce us, but they were hanging out at a show. The next show I was at, Jonathan Tiersten was there. I said, I'm Danny's friend that you were talking about or talking to, blah, blah. So, nice guy. Real nice guy, actually. Real funny. Yeah. Very outgoing guy. Very nice. And also Christopher Collette is in this film. Now, he was the guy I was telling you who was from Firstborn in the Manhattan Project. He was Angela's friend. He was the Gary Good guy. Yeah. And so he's actually done some stuff. So basically they go to summer camp and anybody who's mean to Angela starts dying. Yeah. That's it. Yep. And they all want to pick on her. They all want to pick on Angela.
They all want her to see her go swimming.
Yeah. With bow-legged women.
That's all they want. That's it. Yeah. Why aren't you going swimming? Why aren't you going swimming?
Yeah, they hone in on that a little bit. Yeah, so and then also the guy who plays Mel in the film, the old cantankerous kind of guy, probably Mike Kellen. You've seen him before.
Yeah, he's
a lot.
He's
a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. This was actually his last film. He was sick when they were making this. Yeah, this was his last film. Yeah. So again, I did say when we were talking about this a few weeks ago, and I'm gonna stick with this a little bit, and let's talk about it and take this for what it is. But I'm telling you that this to me is like the Plan 9 from outer space of slasher films.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's almost not a dig on it. It's just like you sit there watching it going, what? Like, whoa. And the performances are like Felissa, Jonathan, and Christopher Collette, okay? Angela, the and then the cousin, and then the kid who kind of likes Angela a little bit, are all decent actors. I don't think they're being directed very strongly, but you can tell that they can perform. They're okay. The rest of the cast looks like they're showing up for their first read through. I don't even know their intentions. I have no idea where those voice inflections are going. It's just like, what? So to say it's uneven in that respect is an understatement. So, all right, now you pick it up a little bit, Mr. Ben Harley.
So once again, I picked this turkey.
Sure did.
And Jesus, I've had some really bad luck lately. I'm going to stop picking movies. I'm just stopping. Give it up.
You gave yourself an education here. You gave yourself an education. Go ahead.
This movie's just awful. It's just an awful movie. It's one of those that I watch and I'm just like, how did this film get made? I know how it got made. Because of the whole, Friday 13th and all these different things going on, I really can't say too much redeeming about it. There's a lot of uncomfortable stuff in there, but then it's just, I don't know. It's just not a good movie. It's just not a good movie. Now I know they go to camp and then there's so she really has trouble with the counselors and the fellow campers and then also the cook and the help and everybody.
Well, she's clearly traumatized.
Yeah, and she doesn't speak.
No.
At all.
No.
She doesn't talk.
Right. She's clearly traumatized. And they're always picking on her because of it too, which is like, who are the adults here?
Now, I will say, Timo, the best thing that I saw in the whole film was that cool kid that had the Blue Oyster Cult shirt on. I do believe I won that same Blue Oyster Cult shirt at the Lucas County Rec Center or at the fair, at the Lucas County Fair throwing darts. So,
you're reaching here, buddy.
I said, hey, I go, look there, Wendy Sue. I said, that's Ben Harley circa 19, probably 85.
Gotcha.
More. Because the kid was a little older than me, but I was like, there I am. But that's about the only redeeming thing I got out of it. And I didn't even like the kid. The kid was a crud. But I liked the t-shirt. It was one of them old school, the jersey. Oh, Timo. I miss those days. Anyways, getting back to this movie. Yeah, they just really do. They pick on her if they go over to try to talk to her and if she doesn't say something, first off, she don't talk.
Right.
But they'll say, well, hey, Angie, how you doing? And she'll look at him. What are you? What are you, an idiot? Are you fucking crazy? And then it's just, I don't know. The whole thing's just kind of, was it made by the campers? The camp, maybe it was a project that they did there at the camp.
Look, I don't know. It is the Plan 9 from outer space. It's slasher films. the performances are like, what? It's almost like they only had enough film, literally only enough film for one take on every scene.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it feels like. So it feels like that Felissa Rose, Jonathan Tiersten, and Christopher Collette, and I'll put Mike Helen in there, the character actor guy, the old guy, Mel. They'd done this before, or they were actually talented, or they knew how to be in front of a camera. So I'm not saying these are Oscar performance. What I'm saying is they actually kind of stick out because they can act a little bit. Yeah. And then, but they're not, I'm thinking, again, the directing is like, I mean, hit your mark, say your line, cut. What's my motivation? To get the scene done.
Yeah.
And that's what it, that's lunch. Right. And it's, I'm telling you right now, without that shocker of an ending, it wouldn't be anything that it is, because it's clearly a cult film. I'm looking on IMDb right now. It's got a 6.3.
Wow.
On IMDb. I think that's
never,
wrong. And I think that is people who enjoy it, because this movie is not a movie that you like as much as a movie that you enjoy. If that makes any sense. And that might be a little harsh.
I don't know. We get any enjoyment out of this movie.
Well, it's not a good movie at all.
It's an awful film. Awful.
But it's one of those so bad it's good sometimes. I know the movie. Remember, I saw this when it came out. Not in the theater, but I saw it right when it came on video. A friend of mine and me rented it, not knowing anything about it. So you can imagine at the end, and I think we were, I don't know, 12? Yeah. 12 years old, 13. So you can imagine sitting through that thing, kind of laughing at it, and then at the very end going, what did I miss? What the hell is going on? Like, I mean, completely like, what? You know, like, I mean, but that stuck with us, and it worked. The ending worked because it sticks with you. It's not because it's good. It's not because it's this, not because that, because it sticks with you. But to me, it's like, it's so silly that it's like, I laugh at it when I watch it. I feel bad for, I don't know if I feel bad for it. That's not really the right word for it. But I think that the talent, the little bit of talent that was in that movie, obviously rose to the top. We still know who these people are, you know, but it's just like one you don't want to put on your resume a whole lot, and then to come find out later in life that's what you're known for. And this is one of those movies. It's one of those movies. Now here's something that's, I think, completely unnecessary here. There's actually a reboot in the works. So basically a remake in the works. Why?
Yeah, I know. Because
why? I tell you what, here we go. I'm so tired of remakes and reboots. How about, and especially since they're remade and rebooted, whatever the shit, for
because of the gender identity stuff, Tim.
Okay, well then fine. How about we do this? How about we reboot the Where's the Beef commercials, but we use Caitlyn Jenner instead of that crummy old lady? I'm just saying, isn't that stupid and bad and like offensive and everything? What? Who cares?
I'll tell you, more shocking, I guess, than the actual ending part. Like, I will say that might be the most shocking face I've ever seen on a human being.
It was
ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
It was a mask. It wasn't her. God. It was a mask. It was a good mask. Yeah. It's a really good mask, but that was a kid. That was like a 14-year-old kid, and they actually got him drunk to be able to do that scene because he had to be standing there naked. And then they put the Angela mask on him, and they made sure and they lined up the weird face. The weird face looked at.
Wow. Yeah. It was bizarro. I will say that was shocking.
Right.
But like, I was more shocked by the two, like the counselors that were standing there, just like talking about it for like a minute. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. What's going on over there?
It's awful. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And then they go back and you're like, and you see this face. And then you go, oh, wait, is something wrong? I was like, oh, man, the contrast was awful. I'm like, first off, like, you wouldn't be in more shock. Like, they were almost like, I think they were like literally sitting there with their hands in their pockets, like, what's that? I don't understand what that is. I'm like, oh, wow. It freaked me out a little bit. It really did. I was like, because the off-putting, crazy-looking face thing, and then the way that they're, like, reacting to it, like, they're not even, like, I don't know. I'm like, are you seeing the same thing that I'm looking at?
Yeah.
I don't know. So that was really weird for me. More than the actual reveal, because I kind of saw that coming. I did. I was like, I see that. I know what's going on, and then I
didn't know it at 12 years old, Matty. When I saw that, I was like, what did I just see? What? I mean, luckily we're watching VHS. So I rewound. What the hell did I just see? And then the 12th time, the hell did I just see? What was that? Yeah. It just left a mark. I'm going to give it credit for it. I can't not give it credit that you got to understand. Seeing it at 48, whatever, 47 years old, you are seeing it at that is not the same thing as seeing it at like 12.
Hell no! And I would have shocked the hell out of you.
Yeah. So it was like 1980.
I saw Deliverance, Timo. I shook the whole night when I went to bed that night. So
I'm not going to equate it to Deliverance or the effect on me. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah, we're knocking on the same door. Yeah, I didn't really lose sleep over it.
I was a young little kid that I lost my innocence.
Yeah. Well, I didn't lose any sleep. I just lost a little basis in reality. What the hell's going on in the world? But here's the thing. I've told you, it's a Plan 9 from outer space.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so shoddily put together, I don't know if I'd even enjoy it. Yeah. And I do not watch this movie very often. It's not when I go back to or anything like that. I've seen all of them. I've seen all of the Sleepaway Camp movies. Yeah, I was saying about
they're on. I see
on Prime.
1, 2, and 3. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3
right
are now.
And there's 4 of them, I believe. There's 4 of them in total. And I actually get a little better as I go. So and actually Pamela Springsteen, Bruce's sister, plays Angela in the sequels, which is interesting on its own right. Now, Felissa, what was interesting too is that if you ever, now you've been around her a lot of conventions, I know you have. So if you ever notice her taking pictures with a wide eye look and that mouth, that's what she's doing. She's doing that look. Everybody knows that look. Like that
it's
look.
Awful.
It is awful, but she makes it.
I almost took a picture of it to send to you while I was watching it and say, "This is what she did."
Yeah. I'm going. Listen, this is what I'm going to do.
And watching the apple.
Yeah. Whoa. No, that's on Mount Rushmore of what the fuck. We can't do that. It's not that. That's not up that alley. But I'm going to give this. I'm going to give it a mild grape ape up, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it's Plan 9 from outer space. It's funny. It's silly. This is not my first rodeo with it. I know this movie, and it's funny. I know it's coming. I mean, for God's sake, who was the African-American guy in that movie? Did he ever act, ever? I don't think that guy would have been good at playing a rock,
He worked at the fucking camp. I'm sure half of them people, they probably brought them kids in and said, all right, we're making a movie. You're in it. You're like, all right, man.
Yeah.
A couple of those kids, I know that kid. That's Red Englehart from down the street, man. Like, I know that guy. Right. I've seen him flip people off just like that. Look just like him.
Right.
It's just bad. Yeah.
Well, and remember, I'm doing that because it did. I never forgot it. I never forgot it, and to this day we're talking about it. This movie came out in 1983. We were sitting here, was it 35 years later?
Yeah,
we're sitting here talking about Sleepaway Camp, and they're forget them doing a reboot or whatever. They'll reboot a damn commercial these days.
Yeah.
So where's the beef? That's like I said.
Where's the beef?
Like I said. So, but it's a mild grape ape up for that. Listen, I can't explain to you or defend grape aping up Attack of the Crab Monsters and not at least give this one a little grape ape up for it. Get some liquor, sit down with a couple friends, and Mystery Science Theater your way through it because it's worth it.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for the few people that had some talent. Some of them we've met and known and stuff. But then again, I don't feel bad for them because they're doing all right living off this movie. Yeah, they're doing okay. People remember it, and they remember it for the same reasons we're talking about it. And you know what? I think some kids saw it, and it did scare them when they were little.
Oh, yeah.
And it just sticks with them. Like some movies stick with us. So anyway, mild grape ape up. I don't think you're going to do the same thing, Mr. Bunhart, because I don't think you've had the same experience with this movie.
No. I got to give the movie a big...
Okay. I don't blame you. It's not a good movie. Yeah.
But the ending, it was shocking, I must say. But, more that face, very few times in my life have I looked at a face and thought, "Holy God!"
You don't want to see a pretty girl do that, do you?
Wow! Like,
well, you don't want to see a pretty girl do all of that at the end either. Yeah, but just let's focus on the face for once. Yeah, we don't want to see that. Yeah,
it kind of reminded me of the little. What's the little? Remember the little monster doll, the voodoo doll that?
Oh, the Zuni, yeah, from Trilogy of Terror.
Remind me a little bit of that.
Wow. Okay.
Vaguely.
yeah, I hear you.
So I was a little unnerved by the whole thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm glad we did it though. You know what? And you're right, Timo. This is definitely one to sit down and to rip on.
Oh, you'll see it again. That's what's funny about it. You're going to watch it again. I guarantee you'll watch it again. That's the allure and the draw of the film. And I'm giving it credit for that. I've had more experience with it, so I'm ahead of the game for you. That's all.
Yeah.
If we did this again in 5 years, know what you know now, you might have you might have more fun with it. You might not be looking at with one eyebrow shooting straight up the top of your head. You're like, what the fuck is this? Yeah.
Why?
Like I did the first time I saw, like, what the hell?
Also, though, in a way, it also gave me comfort to know that I didn't miss out on a lot that I thought I did over the years. Now, I guess I said I was glad we did it, but I used to beat myself. I missed some of them, and then I go back and I watch them. Like, I didn't miss shit. I didn't miss nothing. But I missed the crazy Zulu face, so I will say it was worth seeing. Okay, so.
All right. Well, let's see. I've got Attack of the Crab Monsters Great Ape up for Sleepaway Camp. I just can't. I can't poop on it just because it's stuck with me this long, and I can't. I know it's a horrible movie. I'm pretty sure everybody knows it's a horrible movie, but there is entertainment. There is entertainment to it. You have to add some to it. So you have to have fun with the movie itself. It's one of those movies, okay? I mean, for God's sake, we've seen Octoman, right? I mean, we've seen some of these bad movies.
Timo, Invasion of the Spider Monsters or whatever.
The giant spider invasion.
Spider invasion terrified my little self to my core.
All right, so you're agreeing with me then, obviously.
Yes, buddy, finally, when I finally got to see it in its full glory again, it was on Mystery Science, and I thought, what the fuck?
Right.
But, hey, God bless them. Yeah, God bless, them making this movie too. So,
well, like I
don't
said,
know if I should say God bless.
Well, probably not. But so you got a for this one, and I got, I said, Attack the Crab Monsters. Great Ape up for it. This is a goofy. Have fun with it, folks. That's what it's there for. It's just to have fun with, and then to make you laugh even harder at the end when it pulls the rug out from under you. And then we both got a solid, just regular Great Ape up for the 1981 Looker, which actually is inexplicably, even though it's very rooted in its style of the day, it's inexplicably getting a little bit better as it gets away from being in style somehow. It's getting a little bit better, a little more prophetic. So, all right, Miss Benha, we got to get the hells out of here. So,
yes, sir.
Let's see here.
Work to do.
Yeah. So, enjoy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah. Eat lots of turkey. I'm going to watch the Lions lose, probably. That's our tradition here.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether you like them or not.
Yeah, I hear you. I will be doing that. I will be, of course, watching football. And the day after, everybody, hope to see you out at the Urge show with Brad to pour some ice, warming up for them.
Yeah.
And actually, then you have a wrestling event Sunday at the St. Clemens Hall, correct? About 5 o'clock?
I think that's the 25th, is it? Yes. So, yeah.
So this Sunday, folks, November 25th, at the St. Clemens Hall. I think bell time is probably about 5 if I know my
5 o'clock.
If I know my wrestling.
Yep. And, be there, be square.
That's right. See what the potentate of hate, if he has any revenge in store or not. Mm-hmm. So,
I got something up my sleeve, I do believe.
Or if he's just going to give up and try to find somebody weaker to feud with. You'd find out. You find out. So until next week, folks, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.